Hi, it's Tiffany Lorraine. I'm back with another great speaker for you today. We have Melissa Rohlfs. The stage is yours. Please tell us about you and what you do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I'm coming to you from Arizona. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a holistic health and life coach. And I really help women learn to manage their emotions so that they can kick sugar cravings and stop stress eating and be calm and confident. So anything health, body image, wellness related, that's my jam.
Awesome. How do you feel what you do applies to resilience?
Gosh, I think it's everything. I mean, I think that we live in a society where we're constantly being pulled and tugged, especially as women, and with everything that we've gone through with COVID and having kids at home and all of that. And I think resilience is a huge piece of that puzzle to keep going and affects your health and wellness in so many areas. It's like that mental wellness piece that maybe is missing or that isn't focused on quite enough, in my opinion.
If you could define the word resilience, how would you define it?
I would define it as bounce back ability, the ability to get back up after you've had some hard stuff happen and keep going, and even having things be better than you could ask or imagine or expect. So it's almost like you have the hard things happen, you bounce back, you keep going, and you make things better for yourself than they were before.
How have you done that in your own life?
Well, I have PTSD. And so when I got diagnosed, there were not a lot of resources, first of all, for people who had non-military PTSD and for women with PTSD. And so I've done a lot of healing work. I've done a lot of inner work and therapy and coaching and really working through that. And I am a completely different person than I was when I got that diagnosis. I used to be depressed and overwhelmed and anxious and really not liking life, even though I had everything that society tells you you need with the house and the family and the white picket fence and all the things. And now I'm just in a better place and mentally, emotionally, physically. And it's not the outside stuff that matters. It's the inside, it's the inner work that needs to take place.
Absolutely. And that's great for our mothers and how it applies to them. That's a great example of it. Can you explain some of the things that you actually did as we have our audience taking notes so that they can apply what they're learning from these other stories and just have some tools that they can use to find their own resilient superpowers along the way?
Yeah, absolutely. So some things that have been really helpful for me, Tiffany, have been slowing down. I think that we live in a society where we strive in busyness and being on the go, and that creates such a stress response in our body, and it really gets us out of whack. And so the biggest thing for me has been not keeping up with the Joneses and really figuring out my own pace and what I need and giving myself margin and white space, having quiet time in the morning before my kids are up, and just starting my day in that place really has been a game changer for me. Also, really learning to listen to and honor my body, what foods work for me, how to eat when I'm hungry and when I'm full instead of eating out of emotion or stress or overwhelm. And really, again, slowing down has been a big thing with that. And then I think the last thing has been replacing judgment with curiosity, because I think we're so quick to beat ourselves up and then we can start that shame spiral. But if we can stop, slow down again, that's powerful, and ask why or what am I looking for? Or what do I need? That changes everything.
Yes. And unfortunately, with social media and the instant gratification that we get with our technology, we are too quick to judge, and our brains are actually being wired to judge improperly. We aren't getting the whole picture. We're very quickly looking at something and deciding, do we like it or not like it? Do I love it or do I comment? Do I not comment? And really, we shouldn't be so quick to do that. We need to slow down and look at the whole picture and decide if something's within our values. And if we do really like it or not, we should be more reserved with our decision making and do more research. And as you said, we all need to slow down and let our brain do the proper process that it's going to do. Because too often there's a lot of consequences when you make decisions too quickly and impulsively. And if that becomes a pattern, it sometimes leads down a path that you don't necessarily want, which is often burnout, I think, for mothers especially. And that comparison is so hurtful and not good. And honestly, everything on social media, we've got to realize is just the highlight reel. That's just the high points. And it's great that we can share the high points, but there are low points and there are problems and all sorts of things that are not seen there. And we all have them. We all have challenges. We all have reasons to develop our resilience. And so I think that's beautiful. How does this apply to what you do? And do you have a success story with someone you've worked with?
Yeah, I mean, it applies so much to what I do because it's really our mindset and our habits. And that all starts right here, right? Like so many people, I think when they focus on body image or wellness or health, the first thing that we've been trained to think is, oh, I need to diet, I need to lose weight, I need to cut back, I need to over exercise. And that doesn't address the mindset, that doesn't address our beliefs around food or our bodies or our lives, it doesn't address our habits. And that's where it all starts. That's where like the root of it is. And if you can change the root and you can really deal with that piece, that's where the transformation happens. And so that's what I do with the women I work with, is we really get in there and we kind of tear down some beliefs that they have about their bodies or about food or about their lives or any of those things, and really kind of figure out what works best for them, because we're all unique and one size doesn't fit all.
That's wonderful. And that's just exactly it. We're all unique individuals with our own unique gifts and talents. And that's what I wanted with this summit, was to have a variety of different women that could give a variety of ways to be resilient, so that whatever resonates with you, you can go and apply. Like, I know for me, I've got to work out in the morning, and music are the two most powerful things for me to get through my day and get back in touch with who I am as a person and fire back quickly with the energy that you see I have. And so, but that's me. It's going to be different for everyone. It might be maybe slow yoga. It might be going outside. It might be reading a book. But I think a big thing is taking that time for yourself. And morning routines have been something, and evening routines are something everyone's more aware of, I think, in daily habits in general, as we had to sit with ourselves and figure out, okay, what have I been doing? Am I in the rat race and I've just been going? Or do I have to make some room and space here for something new and better? And it's beautiful to see different people's paths in creating that and doing it successfully like you have. What is probably the most powerful experience or transformation that you've seen?
Gosh, it's so interesting because I think so many people, so many women, so many moms are completely overwhelmed and burnt out. And they come to me and they've tried diet after diet and they haven't gotten the results that they want. And I really don't talk much about food, because it's really not about food. Again, it's about our mindset, it's about our beliefs, it's about our habits. And so they come to me wanting one thing, but they leave a totally different person because they have a whole new perspective. They have a whole new point of view on their bodies, their lives, food, and they really find freedom from the bondage of the diet industry. And it's really amazing because so many women are anxious, they're fearful, they're afraid, they feel like they don't know how to listen to and honor their bodies, and they really find that freedom to learn what works for them and their unique body type. And it changes everything. And it's this beautiful ripple effect, because it changes, their perspective on themselves, but it changes the way that they mother. It changes the way that they show up in the world. And they have this calmness and this confidence that was never there, that can never be given to anybody by behavior modification from the diet industry. Like, it's an amazing internal transformation, and I love it. And I could keep talking about it.
That's awesome. Well, and what I love about that is creating a pattern that's going to affect the next generation to have a better, more conscious awareness of food. And we have a very consumer-based industry that has led people to be consumers of media, consumers of material things, consumers of food. And like, I've had to teach my kids, if there's an advertisement for it, you probably don't need it, because they had to pay someone to get it in front of you to tell you you needed it. And I also tried to tell them that, if God didn't make the food, then it's not going to work with your cells. And if it's not going to work at your body at a cellular level, it's going to cause a problem somewhere, because it wasn't meant to be there. And now we're not completely perfect with our food, but I at least want that in there, so they know when they have options in front of them, they know what they're going to do to their body. And I think if the rising generation gets more aware of that, and I can see that they are, it's going to change the world and the standards by which we are presented our options. Because if we can't find what we want, we're going to go find or make it ourselves. And that's what people are doing. And it's really, really powerful. And I just have to comment that I have never liked the word diet, because the first three letters are die, right? I mean, that's not okay. Like, there's something there, I think. And so it definitely is your relationship with food, and your relationship with food is a reflection of something else that's going on internally. And resilience, I really believe, does start being internal. If you're not aware of what your core values are and who you are, how can you accept yourself and build a life around what will help you thrive? when you let outside validation be the key to who you are and what you do, you lose yourself in the process. And it sounds like that's, you got to the point of like enough, like, and had a diagnosis on top of it. I mean, I have PTSD as well, and I'm learning the effective methods to finally heal that from lots of different trauma over the years. And it's beautiful to have it separate from myself and not a label, that it is something that has options that you can heal and you can do something about, instead of, oh, you have PTSD, you're broken. You're just going to have to settle. I really firmly believe that's wrong. And in another interview, we talked about how if you have a broken arm, we have no problem with someone going and getting a cast. And we would never call them broken because they had a broken arm. But if someone had a mental health issue, they're often labeled as broken or stereotyped as less than somehow. But that makes no sense. A broken mind or a broken arm are still two physical things. One is seen, one is not seen. And the mind is able to heal. We are able to change the patterns. We are able to create new connections to the brain. Do you want to add anything to that?
I absolutely agree with everything you're saying. And in fact, I just was at a parenting seminar this week, and it was on mental health. And the speaker was saying that this generation of kids that are coming up right now have no issue and no stigma saying, I need help. So thank goodness for that. And I just really hope and pray that as parents, we're equipped and able to meet them where they're at, because I think our generation has maybe had that stigma and that negative approach to mental health. So I'm just so thankful for this generation that isn't coming under that, and that hopefully we can equip and empower them and meet them and help them when they come and say, I need help with this.
Oh, yes, it'll be a beautiful thing. Like you said, when PTSD didn't have a diagnosis outside of those coming back from war situations, and now they do. Autism, we didn't know what it was. Now we know what it is. I have a sister myself who wasn't diagnosed soon enough with autism and really struggled. And now she's finally getting the help she needs and is doing better, but it would have done so much more for her had it been caught sooner. So it's beautiful to hear that people are feeling more comfortable to come forward and realize that there's resources, and that parents are also jumping on that and realizing this is not that it's normal, but that it's acceptable to, your child isn't broken. I mean, I think that's really important, that we have struggles. We have a lot. The world has changed. What stresses and the things that we have going on have changed mental health hugely. It's more of the struggle than the survival, at least in certain countries. We do have, or countries right now that I'll be sensitive to, are really struggling just to survive. But a lot of internal struggles seem to be the new pandemic in a lot of ways. Can your child be resilient is huge. And that's what the summit's all about. Because if mama is resilient, and the kids are resilient, because if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right? So awesome. If you could give like the top 3 tips on what you do or what you would suggest someone does to be resilient, what would those be?
I think don't ignore it. I think the biggest thing is we tend to, at least this was my tendency, and I think when we go through something, we can see it more relevant in those around us. I think we tend to downplay or dismiss or ignore things because they're not comfortable. Like trauma, it's not comfortable to admit that, this had happened and I've gone through this and this happened. But ignoring it for me only made it worse. I had to really be willing to acknowledge that it had happened. I had to verbalize it, and then I had to go through the work and the process to heal. And so don't avoid it. That doesn't serve anybody. And I look back at times in my life where things were hard or challenging and people kind of confronted me on it. And those were the best times ever. Like, for example, our daughter has some food allergies, and my husband's aunt was like, I think there might be some allergies going on. And I was like, what? Because as a mother, I felt like, oh my goodness, I should know that. Why is she telling me that? But I was so thankful that she spoke into that, because it led us down this path to discover she did have allergies. So don't ignore something because it's hard or it's uncomfortable. I think we need to acknowledge it, and we need to deal with it in order to heal. So that's one thing. I think the other thing is community is really powerful, and being in community and space with people who can hold space for you, who are emotionally safe, who are encouraging and equipping and supportive is really a valuable asset. I think we realized through COVID how much we need that in-person community. So I think find a community where you're accepted and you can be yourself authentically. You don't have to hide or act like something you're not. I think that's really powerful. And I think the third thing is take care of yourself. I know it's so easy as a mom to feel like maybe everybody's needs come first and you're not important and you're the back burner and taking care of yourself is selfish. It's all those negative messages that society sends us. But the reality is, if you don't care for yourself, you can't care for those around you. You can't pour from an empty cup. On the airplane, they always tell you, put your mask on first. Same thing goes. Take care of yourself, mama. You matter. You're worth taking care of. And you're modeling so much for your kids. More is caught than taught.
Yes, yes. And that's a theme that keeps coming up is mom's got to take care of mom first. And there's many beautiful ways to do that. And it's different for everybody. So whatever works for you, at least go out and explore options of what might work for you, whether that's meditation or a little more movement. And I know I'm one who doesn't have a whole lot of support. I'm not near family. I came into a new community before COVID. So most of my support is actually online, but I went and found it. And now as things are opening up, I'm starting to find community. So it's really up to you to find community. There's no real, oh, I don't have support. Sometimes you have to just go and create it. And I wish that's something I had realized sooner, as I used to move a lot. I think with my PTSD in my 20s and my mental illness, I would live somewhere for a period of time. And as soon as my lease was up or my rental agreement was up, I would move. And it was because I was running from myself instead of facing myself and just building community around, hey, this is who I am. These are my struggles and this is who I am, and finding those people that let you show up authentically and just be like, yeah, I have PTSD or I've had this in my past. But that's, that's not who I am today. Who we are during crisis or who we are when we're having a struggle with our mental illness is not who we are. And we need those people who recognize that. And I'm glad to hear that that's happening more, especially for youth, so they don't feel ashamed to hide and suffer, because really it's suffering. It would be like trying to mend that broken arm by yourself without a cast. Like that would be, we would never encourage that, right? So I love to hear this. So tell me how this has affected your family and your kids by your example of what you've done.
Gosh, I think it changed everything. I mean, I look at the way that I was raised and how I grew up, and it's me not repeating that pattern. It's me creating a totally different environment for them, the one that I wish that I had had. And not that mine was bad and terrible, but I think that a lot of times all we know is what we came from. And a lot of times we don't stop and look back and say, okay, what do I want to do from this? And what do I want to do differently? And I don't think we really give ourselves permission or even the ability to think about that. And so I think I'm really transforming my family in the way that my kids handle things. I think they're more resilient. I think that they have just this strength I've seen. We moved last summer during COVID. And so to see them get plugged in and connected at a new school and just build community, and our daughter's on the praise team and she's doing basketball and volleyball and our son is doing sports. Like to just see them have the courage within themselves to try new things at this age is really amazing and encouraging. And it's not something I think I had in me when I was their age. So I think it's changed everything for my family.
So you're a chain breaker, as they say. About every 3 generations, there's someone who can come along and change things for the better in their family. And listeners, maybe that's you. And here's 2 examples of that right here. And we have a few others in some of our other in our other interviews that I really listen to that. If there's something that you want to change and it's been a generational pattern, you can change it. It's not something that's stuck. You're not just who you are. You can be whatever you want to be. You have that potential. And when we give that gift to our children, that's just going to pass on. And everyone is going to have that permission to reach that ultimate potential and exit all those limiting beliefs or abusive patterns or any of those things holding you back. And that's the beautiful thing about this. And that's what this whole summit's really about is that kind of resilience that no matter what comes in the future, we're all going to be able to face it with the very best of who we are and bring that forward in each other. And because when we do that in ourselves, it brings it out in each other. It can be contagious. So let's make resilient contagious, please, please, please. We're about to end. So I would like to know what you're offering our audience for as you join us today, if you'd like to explain that. And then we're going to do a little Zoom box dancing as I'm trying to see who has the best Zoom box dance moves. So your offer, and then we're going to dance. I'm going to find the music while you talk.
Yes, absolutely. So I am offering my ultimate guide to body for peace, because it kind of addresses everything. It talks about resilience. It talks about really finding peace and freedom in your body and within in your life. And I think that's a big piece of the puzzle, is really slowing down and learning to listen to you and honoring your uniqueness instead of what the diet culture and the diet industry is telling women today.
Absolutely. And I love that you're going to be able to help people through that, because it's a little bit of a different concept of, oh no, somebody's not going to tell me what to eat. I've got to decide what makes my body feel good. And I do think it's great. If you need that guidance, you've got the right person here to help you with that. So take advantage of that offer. And here we go. I think I've got some fun music. Let's see. Just one second. It's loading. Technology. Okay, here we go. Let's try this one out. Tell me what you got. Come on. Everybody up. Let's dance. Okay, that's my favorite move. I gotta come up with a different one. Let's do some disco.
You can't see my head from the right now.
There's no wrong way to dance. Just join us. Come on and dance, people. Move your body.
I was born to be free.
Good song.
High five.
That's good.
All right, that was a little different song, but that was fun. All right.
I had the word free in there. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I keep hitting those. It's just meant to be, apparently. That's the second time the free has come up. So, okay.
That's awesome.
And that was a great example there. She just drank some water. People, please drink some water. This is an all-day summit. Or if you haven't drinking your water today, drink it. That's important. So,
Hydration matters.
I need to go get my water, by the way. Well, thank you for joining us. This has been a wonderful interview. Please stay tuned, and we've got more speakers. They're going to keep coming. I promised you 50. You're going to get them. I promise. All right. So until I see you next time, you can be